Emotional prophecy. Stop predicting your pain and start programming your peace. You've spent years perfecting the skill of expecting the worst. Imagine what happens when you master expecting excellence instead. Every single day you are making prophecies about your own life. And right now, you are almost certainly predicting your own pain. You are forecasting failure, rehearsing rejection, and preparing for disappointment. And the most dangerous part? Your brain and your emotions obey these prophecies. They make them come true. This is not mysticism. This is the hardwired science of your mind. This book is your intervention. Over the next hour, you will perform the most critical upgrade of your life. You will dismantle your machinery of suffering and install a new system that actively programs your peace, your power, and your success. Stop predicting your pain. It's time to start programming your peace. Chapter 1: Diagnose the disease of prediction silence. For a moment, I want you to just listen to the silence, because in a moment, we're going to expose the noise that's been running your life. That noise is not random. It is not background static. It is a broadcast. A broadcast you have been writing, producing, and starring in for years. And today, we change the channel. You have a disease. It's not a physical disease, but it causes more pain, more paralysis, and more suffering than any virus ever could. This disease is insidious. It's silent. And you are its primary carrier. The disease is prediction. Negative emotional prediction. You are an addict for forecasting your own pain, and you need to admit that. Right now, let's define it with brutal clarity. Emotional prophecy is the unconscious, habitual act of forecasting negative emotional outcomes before an event even happens. It is the mental rehearsal of failure, of anxiety, of rejection, of disappointment. It is you writing a script for a tragedy, and then forcing yourself to act it out. You are not anxious because of the party. You are anxious because days before the party you are already there in your mind. You are already standing in the corner. You are already feeling the sweat on your palms. You are already hearing the silence in your conversations. You are prophesying your pain. You are not dreading the presentation because of the content. You are dreading it because in your mind, it's already a disaster. You've already stuttered. You've already seen the bored faces. You've already felt the heat of humiliation. You are prophesying your pain. This is not preparation. Preparation is logical. It's about planning. Prophecy is emotional. It's about pre-living suffering. And you are doing it constantly. Before a difficult conversation, before a first date, before asking for a raise, before starting a new project. You are not entering the situation fresh. You are entering it already defeated, already wounded, already braced for impact. You are prophesying your pain, and I need you to hear that. I need you to let that phrase land. It's not that you're a little negative, it's not that you overthink. Those are weak, passive terms. What you are doing is active. It is a creative act. You are creating your future suffering in the present moment. You are a prophet of your own doom. And here is the most critical, non-negotiable truth you must accept. Your brain and your body obey these prophecies. They treat them as commands. When you tell yourself, "I'm going to be so anxious," your nervous system gets the memo. It starts pumping out cortisol. It tenses your muscles. It quickens your heart rate. It prepares for the danger you prophesied. You are not predicting the anxiety. You are manufacturing it. You are programming it into your very biology. When you tell yourself, "This is going to be a disaster," your mind gets the command. It starts looking for evidence of the disaster. It makes you hesitant. It kills your creativity. It ensures your performance is stiff, fearful, and weak. You are fulfilling the prophecy you just made. You are prophesying your pain. And the prophecy must be fulfilled. Your mind sees it as a goal. And your mind is a goal-seeking machine. This is the foundation of everything we will build. If you do not get this, the rest of this book is worthless. This is not a theory. This is the operating system of your life. And right now it's running a virus. The virus of prediction. I want you to think of one thing you're dreading in the next week. One meeting. One conversation. One social event. Got it? Now, I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. What is the specific emotional outcome you are forecasting? Are you forecasting awkwardness? Are you forecasting anger? Are you forecasting failure? Name it. Say it out loud. I am prophesying that I will feel. Say it. That feeling you just named, that is the product you are manufacturing for yourself. That is the emotional experience you have already decided to have. You have pre-sold yourself on pain. This is the diagnosis. This is the disease. And a disease, once diagnosed, can be treated. It can be cured. You have a choice. You have always had a choice. You just didn't know you were making it. Every time that negative forecast flashes in your mind, you have a choice. You can accept it as truth and let it program your nervous system for failure, or you can see it for what it is, a habit, a bad, painful, destructive mental habit. It's not about being optimistic. It's not about positive thinking. That's weak. That's fluff. This is about accuracy. This is about truth. The truth is, you do not know what will happen at that party, in that meeting, on that date. You have zero evidence. You cannot see the future. So why are you living as if the worst-case scenario is a guaranteed fact? You are basing your present emotional state on a fictional future. That's not smart. That's not sophisticated. That's insanity. You are prophesying your pain. And that ends now. The first step to curing any disease is to admit you have it, to see its symptoms clearly, to feel its cost. You have just diagnosed yourself. You have identified the silent narrator of your life, the voice that has been scripting your suffering. This is the most important work you will ever do. Because once you see the prophecies, you can no longer claim ignorance. Once you see the mechanism, you can no longer play the victim. You are the prophet, and a prophet can change the message. You've named the disease. You've seen how it operates. Now it's time to understand the machine it's running on. It's time to see the obedient hardware inside your skull that makes all of this possible. Chapter 2. Your mind is an obedient machine. You've diagnosed the disease. You see the prophecies. Now you need to understand the how. How does a simple thought, a quiet prediction, turn into a physical reality of anxiety? How does a story you tell yourself in the privacy of your own mind become the story of your life? It's not magic. It's not a mystery. It's machinery. Your mind is not a mysterious, chaotic cloud of thoughts and feelings. It is a system. A precise, logical, and brutally obedient system. It is a machine. And like any machine, it operates on a fundamental principle. Input determines output. Your mind is a goal-seeking machine. Give it the right goal. Let me introduce you to the most obedient employee you will ever have. It's called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. This is a tiny bundle of nerves at the base of your brain. Its job is simple, and it never ever takes a day off. Its job is to be a filter, a gatekeeper. It decides what, out of the millions of bits of data hitting you every second, you actually become conscious of. And how does it decide? It decides based on what you tell it is important. It takes its orders from you. Your mind is a goal-seeking machine. Give it the right goal. Think about the last time you decided to buy a new car. Let's say a red car. Suddenly you see red cars everywhere. On the highway, in parking lots, in commercials. Did the world suddenly manufacture more red cars just for you? No, you gave your RAS a command. Red cars are important. And your obedient machine said, "Yes, sir." It filtered out the blue, the black, the white cars, and brought every single red car to your conscious attention. Now apply this to your emotional life. This is where it gets critical. If you walk into a room and your constant internal prophecy is, "No one here respects me," what are you telling your RAS? You are giving it a command. You are saying, "Find me evidence of disrespect." That is the mission. And your obedient machine says, "Yes, sir." It will filter out the smiles, the nods, the genuine questions. It will highlight the person who glanced at their phone while you were talking. It will amplify the offhand comment that could be interpreted as a slight. It will deliver to your consciousness a world that proves your prophecy correct. Your mind is a goal-seeking machine. Give it the right goal. You commanded it to seek disrespect. And it found it. It always will. This is the mechanism. This is the cold, hard science behind your suffering. Your negative emotional prophecies are not just bad thoughts. They are faulty programming. They are corrupt code. You are inputting garbage into the most sophisticated system on the planet, your own brain. And what is the result? Garbage in, gospel out. You program "I am unlucky." Your RAS obediently seeks evidence of bad luck. It makes you notice every missed train, every rainy day on your day off, every minor inconvenience. It filters out the green lights, the unexpected bonuses, the moments of perfect timing. You conclude you are unlucky. The machine delivered what you asked for. Garbage in, gospel out. You program "I am not enough." Your RAS seeks evidence of your inadequacy. It highlights your mistakes and hides your successes. It makes you remember every criticism and forget every compliment. You feel like a fraud. The machine delivered what you asked for. Garbage in, gospel out. This is the core of your responsibility. You can no longer blame the world for how you feel. You can no longer point to external events and say, "That made me anxious." That is a lie. A weak, passive victim's lie. The truth is, your internal prophecy prepared you to be anxious. It programmed your machine to interpret that event as a threat. The event was just data. Your prophecy was the command that told your machine how to process it. You have a choice. You always have a choice. You are standing at the keyboard of this machine every single moment of every single day. You are typing in the commands, and you are responsible for the output on the screen, your emotional experience of life. You are the programmer of your own mind. Stop blaming your boss for your stress. Audit the prophecies you recited on your way to work. Stop blaming your partner for your frustration. Audit the story you told yourself about their intentions before you even spoke. Stop blaming the world for your anxiety. Audit the code you are running every morning when you wake up. You are the programmer of your own mind. This is not a metaphor. This is the literal truth. The thoughts you repeat, the prophecies you indulge, the stories you tell yourself. This is you writing the software that your biological hardware runs. It's not about feeling good. It's about command. It's about discipline. It's about taking conscious, ruthless control of the input, because the output is not negotiable. The machine is obedient. If you input fear, it will output a fearful reality. If you input confidence, it will output a world of opportunity. Your work today, right now, is to accept this title, programmer. You are no longer a passenger. You are no longer a victim of your own outdated, corrupted software. You are the architect. You hold the keys. From this moment forward, every time you feel a negative emotion, I want you to ask one question. What command did I just input? What was the prophecy? Trace the output back to the input. Take responsibility. You are the programmer of your own mind. This is the power you have been giving away. This is the control you have been surrendering to a habit. You have been letting a faulty autopilot fly your life, and then being shocked when it crashes. No more. You now understand the machine. You know how it works. It's obedient. It's neutral. It doesn't care if you program it for success or for suffering. It will faithfully execute either one. Now that you see the machinery, it's time to get specific about the viruses corrupting it. It's time to meet the 3 most destructive programs you are running. Chapter 3: The 3 Prophecies of Pain. You are the programmer. Your mind is an obedient machine. Now let's audit the software. Let's look at the corrupt code that's been running on a loop, draining your power and poisoning your peace. Your negative prophecies aren't random. They fall into patterns. Tried and true recipes for suffering. Today we expose the 3 most popular ones. The holy trinity of self-sabotage. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. And once you can name them, you can break them. The first prophecy is the most dramatic, the most fear-based. It's the one that makes a crisis out of an inconvenience. I call it the prophecy of catastrophe. This is the habit of mentally leaping to the worst-case scenario and living as if it's already true. It's your mind writing a horror movie and then casting you as the victim. Your boss wants to talk? It's not a check-in. You're getting fired. A slight ache in your side? It's not indigestion. It's a terminal disease. A small financial setback? This is it. The first step toward bankruptcy and homelessness. Stop writing tragedies for a life that hasn't happened yet. You are taking a single data point and extrapolating it into a narrative of utter ruin. You are connecting dots that don't exist to paint a picture of your own demise. And why? Because it feels familiar. It feels safe. If you expect the worst, you think you can't be disappointed. But that's a lie. You are living in the disappointment now. You are paying the emotional cost of a disaster that exists only in your mind. Stop writing tragedies for a life that hasn't happened yet. This prophecy is a failure of imagination. You are so creative in envisioning the worst, but so lazy in envisioning a neutral or positive outcome. What if the meeting with your boss is a promotion? What if the ache is nothing? What if the financial setback is a temporary lesson that leads to a smarter strategy? You don't consider those options. You jump straight to the end of the world, and your obedient mind follows your command. It puts your body into a state of high alert, of panic for a threat that is a complete fiction. Stop writing tragedies for a life that hasn't happened yet. That story you're writing, tear up the script. The second prophecy is more insidious. It's quieter. It doesn't attack your circumstances. It attacks your core. This is the prophecy of inadequacy. This is the preemptive declaration that you are not enough. Not smart enough, not strong enough, not likable enough, not worthy enough to handle what's in front of you. It's the voice that says, "Who am I to try?" Before you've even taken a single step. You are prophesying your own smallness. You see a promotion and think, "I'm not qualified," so you don't even apply. You're offered an opportunity and you whisper, "I'll probably mess it up," so you self-sabotage from the start. You stand in a social situation and think, "I have nothing interesting to say," so you become quiet, withdrawn, and boring, fulfilling the very prophecy you made. You are prophesying your own smallness. This isn't humility. Humility is accurate self-assessment. This is self-annihilation. You are using your powerful mind to argue for your own limitations. You are gathering evidence of what you lack and ignoring all evidence of what you possess. You are telling the machine, "I am small," and the machine obediently makes you feel small, act small, and become small. It filters out your past successes. It hides your inherent strengths. It delivers to you a version of yourself that is stunted and incapable. You are prophesying your own smallness, and the machine always says yes. The third prophecy is the one that poisons your connections. It isolates you. It makes you see enemies where there are only people. This is the prophecy of rejection. This is the expectation of being excluded, abandoned, or judged. It's the conviction that you are on the outside looking in, and it's so powerful because it creates the very behavior that guarantees its fulfillment. You reject yourself first, and then you make the world agree. You go on a date convinced they won't like you. So what happens? You're nervous. You're awkward. You're trying too hard or not trying at all. You aren't your authentic self. You are a defensive version of yourself braced for impact, and the date feels the tension. They pick up on the lack of ease, and they pull away. You got your prophecy. You were rejected. But who started it? You did. You reject yourself first, and then you make the world agree. You walk into a group conversation prophesying that you don't belong, so you stand slightly outside the circle. You don't contribute. Your body language is closed off. People sense this and don't engage you. You see their lack of engagement as proof of your prophecy. The cycle is complete. You created the very exclusion you feared. You reject yourself first, and then you make the world agree. This prophecy is a self-administered wound. You are so afraid of being rejected by others that you do their job for them. You reject yourself in advance. You decide you are unworthy of connection, and then you act in ways that make it true. It's not about them. It's about the story you are running before you even say hello. These are the three: catastrophe, inadequacy, rejection. This is the toxic trio. This is the faulty software. You have a choice. You can continue to run these programs to prophesy pain and watch it manifest, or you can shut them down. It's not about stopping the thoughts. That's impossible. It's about recognizing the pattern. It's about discipline. The discipline of catching the prophecy the moment it appears. When you feel the panic of catastrophe, you say, "I am writing a tragedy, stop." When you feel the shrink of inadequacy, you say, "I am prophesying my smallness, stop." When you feel the sting of anticipated rejection, you say, "I am rejecting myself, stop." You have seen the enemy, and the enemy is a predictable, repetitive story you tell yourself. Now that you can identify these viruses, it's time to learn the exact technique to stop them in their tracks. It's time to become a prophet of your own power. Chapter 4: Interrupt the Pattern. The prophecy interceptor. Knowing the enemy is not enough. Awareness is not the endgame. Awareness is the starting pistol. You know the three prophecies. You can feel them when they start to whisper. Now you need a weapon. You need a tactic. You need a way to stop the virus before it infects the entire system. That weapon is here. It's called the prophecy interceptor. This is not a complicated theory. This is a brute force intervention. It is a mental martial art. The moment you feel that familiar surge of anxiety, that sinking feeling of dread, that voice of, "Here we go again," you must act. Not in 5 minutes. Not after you've thought about it, immediately. The technique is this: a simple, immediate, and powerful mental shout. You stop everything and you command stop. That is a prophecy. That's it. That's the foundation. You are not arguing with the thought. You are not analyzing it. You are not believing it. You are labeling it for what it is and halting its momentum dead in its tracks. Your boss emails, "We need to talk." The thought flashes, "I'm in trouble. I'm going to be fired." Before that thought can blossom into a full-blown panic attack, you intercept. In your mind with force, stop. That is a prophecy. You're about to walk into a party. The feeling rises, "I'm going to be awkward and no one will talk to me." Before that feeling dictates your posture and your expression, you intercept. Stop. That is a prophecy. Interrupt the prophecy. Disobey the impulse. The impulse is to spiral. The impulse is to believe the story. Your new job is to disobey that impulse. You are retraining your own mind. You are establishing a new chain of command. The thought is no longer in charge. You are interrupt the prophecy. Disobey the impulse. This is the first and most critical step. You are breaking the hypnosis. You are snapping yourself out of the trance. But we don't stop there. A stopped prophecy leaves a vacuum, and nature abhors a vacuum. So we fill it with clarity, with truth. Step 2, label it. You have the 3 categories, now use them. Once you've intercepted the thought, you calmly, coolly identify its type. That thought, "I'm going to be fired?" That's not a fact. That's a prophecy of catastrophe. So you say to it, "I see you. You are a prophecy of catastrophe. That feeling, I have nothing interesting to say, that's not reality. That's a prophecy of inadequacy. So you address it. There you are, prophecy of inadequacy. I know what you are, that fear they won't like me. That's not intuition. That's a prophecy of rejection. So you name it, not today. You are just a prophecy of rejection. Name it to tame it. When you label the prophecy, you do something profound. You create distance. You turn it from a truth you are living into an object you are observing. It is no longer my reality. It is that thing my mind is doing. You are the scientist looking at a specimen under a microscope. It is separate from you. It has a name, and once it has a name, it loses its power to haunt you anonymously. Name it to tame it. This is how you rob the prophecy of its emotional charge. You are not fighting it. You are classifying it. You are filing it away in the correct cabinet of faulty mental programs. This is not spiritual. This is administrative. You are auditing your inner world with cold, hard precision. Now listen carefully. This is not a one-and-done technique. This is not something you try once when you're feeling motivated and then forget. This is the new default setting for your consciousness. This is the core discipline of your new life. You must do this every single time, not just for the big things, for the small, subtle prophecies that run in the background. The "this traffic is going to ruin my day" prophecy. The "I'm probably going to catch that cold" prophecy. The "this coffee is going to be the only good part of my morning" prophecy. These are all small commands you are giving your machine. They all matter. Vigilance is the price of peace. You want peace? You want power? This is the cost. The cost is eternal vigilance over your inner world. There are no days off. There are no moments where you get to take a break and let the prophecies run wild. That is how you ended up here. That is the old lazy software. You are installing an upgrade. The upgrade requires constant conscious input. Vigilance is the price of peace. It is a small price to pay for the freedom you will gain. Every time you intercept, you are stronger. Every time you name it, you are clearer. This is how you forge a new identity, not through a single massive effort, but through 1,000 small consistent acts of disobedience against your own fear. You have a choice. In the space between the trigger and the reaction, you have a choice. The prophecy interceptor creates that space. It widens it. It gives you back your power to choose. It's not about having no negative thoughts. That's a fantasy. It's about discipline. The discipline of interception. The discipline of labeling. The discipline of vigilance. You now have the tool to stop the old program. But nature abhors a vacuum. You cannot just have a blank screen. It's time to write new code. It's time to give your obedient machine a new, powerful command to execute. Chapter 5: Rewrite the code. The architecture of a new story. You have the interceptor. You can stop the old prophecy dead in its tracks. But this is where most people fail. They think the work is done. They clear the land, but then let the weeds grow back. They create a vacuum, and nature abhors a vacuum. You cannot just stop a prophecy. You must replace it immediately, forcefully, deliberately. Interception is defense. What we start now is offense. This is the creative act. This is where you stop being a victim of your mental software and become its architect. You've been evicting the squatters, the prophecies of pain. Now you must move in a new, powerful tenant. A permanent resident. You must evict the old tenant and install a new one. The old tenant was the voice that said, "This is going to be a disaster." The new tenant is what I call an intentional prophecy. This is not positive thinking. This is not wishful hoping. This is a deliberate, conscious command you issue to your obedient machine. It is the new code you write to overwrite the corrupt file. You intercepted, "This is going to be stressful." Now, you install, "I am programmed for calm and clarity." You intercepted, "I'm going to make a fool of myself." Now, you install, "I am composed and compelling." You intercepted, "They won't like me." Now, you install, "I am worthy of connection and I engage with ease." You must evict the old tenant and install a new one. This is non-negotiable. The space in your mind must be occupied. You will occupy it with a command of your choosing, or the old program will sneak back in. You are the landlord. You decide who lives there, but you can't just install any thought. The machine requires specific code. Vague, weak language gets ignored. Your intentional prophecy must be engineered for maximum impact. It must follow 4 immutable rules. First, it must be present tense. Your mind operates in the now. I will be confident is a future promise that never arrives. I am confident is a current command the machine must obey. You speak it as if it is already true, because in the moment you command it, it is the only truth you are creating. Second, it must be positive. The machine does not process negatives well. I won't be nervous focuses on nervousness. It highlights the very thing you don't want. I am calm and focused gives the machine a clear, positive target. You are telling it what to do, not what not to do. Program in the affirmative. Tell your mind what to do. Third, it must be personal. Use I statements. This is a direct command from the programmer to the machine. This situation will be easy as outside your control. I handle this with ease is a command about your own state which you absolutely control. Fourth, it must be emotionally charged. This is the most critical rule. The words alone are just syntax. The feeling is the substance. The emotion is the actual code. The feeling is the programming. When you say your new prophecy, I am confident, you cannot just mumble it like a shopping list. You must generate the feeling of confidence as you say it. Recall a memory where you felt genuine confidence. Feel it in your body, the posture, the breath, the slight smile, the steady gaze. Marry the word to the sensation. When you command I am at peace, you must summon the physical reality of peace. A slow exhale, relaxed shoulders, a quiet mind. The words are the key, but the feeling is the hand that turns the key and starts the engine. The feeling is the programming. Without it, you are just reciting a mantra. With it, you are rewriting your neurological pathways. You are giving the RASA command soaked in real, tangible data it can use to filter your reality. So the full sequence is this. Intercept. Stop, that is a prophecy. Label. That is a prophecy of inadequacy. Replace. Feel the new intentional prophecy. I am capable and fully equipped for this. You have a choice. You always have a choice. In that moment, you can choose to replay the old broken record, or you can choose to conduct a new symphony. It's not about believing it instantly. That's the old passive way. It's about commanding it. It's about discipline. The discipline of speaking the new truth before you fully feel it. The feeling will follow the command. It always does. The machine is obedient. You are no longer a passive predictor. You are an active programmer. Every intercepted thought is an opportunity to install a new command. Every moment of vigilance is a brick in the architecture of your new story. You have the blueprint. You have the rules. But a blueprint is just an idea. A command is just a thought. To make it real, you must build it. You must embody it. You must breathe life into the code. Chapter 6, Embody the Prophecy. Your body believes what you tell it. You have the new code. You have the intentional prophecy. But if it stays in your head, it is weak. It is a theory, a wish. Your mind and your body are not separate systems. They are one integrated machine. And right now, you are trying to run new software on old hardware. An intellectual prophecy is a suggestion. An embodied prophecy is a command your entire being must obey. Think about it. You can sit there and whisper, I am at peace. I am at peace, but if your shoulders are hunched to your ears, your jaw is clenched tight and your breath is shallow in your chest. What is the real command you are sending? The real command is danger. Your body is screaming a different story than your words. And your mind believes the body every single time. Your body is part of the machine. Program it directly. You cannot lie to your nervous system. It speaks the raw language of sensation. If you want to program confidence, you cannot do it while looking at the floor. If you want to program calm, you cannot do it with a racing heart. The words and the physiology must be in absolute alignment. When they are, the signal is unstoppable. Your body is part of the machine. Program it directly. Stop treating it like a passive vehicle. It is an active participant in creating your emotional reality. It is the speaker that broadcasts your prophecy to the world and back to your own brain. So how do you program it? You don't just think a new state. You assume it. Physically, you perform it. This is not faking. This is building. You are constructing the biological foundation for your new emotional reality. I call this the physiological reset. It is a 3-part ritual to install your prophecy directly into your nervous system. You will do this the moment you intercept an old prophecy and state your new one. First, posture. Your posture is the architecture of your state. To program unshakable calm, you cannot be curled in a defensive ball. You stand or sit upright. You pull your shoulders back and down. You lift your chest. You create a posture of openness and ease. You physically embody the concept of I cannot be shaken. Second, breath. Your breath is the remote control for your nervous system. To install calm, you take a slow, deep diaphragmatic breath. You inhale for 4 counts and you exhale for 6 or 8. You extend the exhale. This is not a subtle suggestion. This is a physiological command that tells your body to switch from panic to peace. Immediately. Third, face. The muscles of your face are directly wired to your emotional centers. A scowling face tells your brain to feel anger. A tense jaw tells your brain to feel stress. To program calm, you deliberately relax the muscles around your eyes, your jaw, your forehead. You allow a slight, almost imperceptible softening around your mouth, a neutral, relaxed expression. Assume the anatomy of your desired outcome. You want to feel powerful? Assume the anatomy of power. Chest open, feet planted, head level. You want to feel joyful? Assume the anatomy of joy. A slight smile, relaxed eyes, and easy breath. You want to feel peace? Assume the anatomy of peace. The posture, the breath, the face. Assume the anatomy of your desired outcome. This is how you make it real. This is how you move the prophecy from a concept in your mind to a truth in your cells. You are not waiting to feel it. You are building the feeling from the outside in. Now, here is the critical mistake you will be tempted to make. You will be tempted to only do this when you are in crisis, when the anxiety is already high. That is like trying to build a levee after the flood has already hit. It's too late. The old pattern is too strong. You must practice this in peace to build strength for war. This is not a crisis technique. This is a daily discipline. You must build the new neural pathway when the old one is quiet. You must create muscle memory for the mind. Muscle memory for the mind. I command you to do this. Every morning, for the next 30 days, you will spend 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. You will stand in front of a mirror. You will choose your primary intentional prophecy for the day. I am focused. I am resilient. I am calm under pressure. And then you will install it. You will assume the posture. You will take the breath. You will relax the face. And you will feel the state as you repeat the prophecy. You are not just saying words. You are performing a ritual of programming. You are engraving the new command into your very flesh and bone. Muscle memory for the mind. This daily practice is what makes the crisis time response automatic. When the old prophecy fires, your body will already know the way back to the new state. It will have a memory of what calm feels like, what power feels like, what peace feels like. Because you practiced it, you have a choice. You can let your old, slumped, shallow breathing posture dictate your emotional destiny. Or you can use your body as the most powerful tool you own to create a new one. It's not about how you feel. It's about discipline. The discipline of assuming the anatomy, especially when you don't feel like it. That is the moment of true programming. You are no longer just a thinker. You are a performer. an architect of your own physiology. You are building the container for your new emotional life brick by brick, breath by breath. But a ritual performed randomly is a hobby. A ritual performed daily is a transformation. It's time to systemize this. It's time to make it non-negotiable. Chapter 7: Fortify Your Peace. The daily programming ritual. You have the tools, the interceptor, the intentional prophecy, the physiological reset. But tools in a toolbox don't build a house. You must pick them up. You must use them, not when you feel like it, not when the crisis hits every single day. Peace is not something you find. It is not a destination you arrive at. Peace is something you build, actively, deliberately, brick by brick, and you build it first thing in the morning before the world has a chance to tear it down. You would not leave your house without brushing your teeth. It is a non-negotiable act of hygiene. You are scrushing away the decay of the night. Your mind is no different. It accumulates decay overnight. The residue of yesterday's stress. The default prophecies that wake up before you do. You need a hygiene ritual for your mind. This is not optional. This is the foundation. This is where you move from theory to practice, from occasional effort to unshakable discipline. I am giving you a 5-minute ritual, the daily programming session. You will do this the moment you wake up, before you check your phone, before you talk to anyone. Before the world starts inputting its data, you will input your own. You must program the machine before the world starts inputting data. If you don't, you are letting the news, your inbox, and other people's demands set the tone for your day. You are surrendering control before you've even had your coffee. That is a recipe for reactivity, for anxiety, for living on the defensive. That ends now. The ritual has 4 precise steps. You will not alter them. You will not skip them. You will execute them with focus. Step 1. Silence and breath. 60 seconds. Sit up in your bed or in a chair. Close your eyes. And for 60 seconds you do nothing but breathe. Deep diaphragmatic breaths. In for 4 counts, out for 6. This is not meditation. This is initialization. You are shutting down the background noise. You are rebooting the system. You are creating a clean, quiet space to work. Step 2. Scan and intercept. 60 seconds. Now you bring your awareness to the day ahead. What is on your schedule? A meeting? A difficult task? A social event? As you review it, you listen. You listen for the default prophecies. The quiet whispers of, "This is going to be stressful," or, "I'm not ready for this." The moment you hear one, you intercept it. Mentally with force, stop. That is a prophecy. You are the guard at the gate. You are not letting the old enemies in. Step 3. Install. 60 seconds. You have cleared the corrupted files. Now you install the new software. You consciously choose 3 intentional prophecies for your day. Make them specific to your challenges. Say them out loud with conviction. Today, I program myself for focused productivity. Today, I program myself for easy social connection. Today, I program myself for deep restorative rest. These are your commands. You are not hoping for these states. You are programming them in. Step 4. Embody. 3 minutes, 60 seconds per prophecy. This is where you make it real. You take your first prophecy, focused productivity. For 60 seconds, you assume the anatomy of that state. You sit up straight, as if at a highly productive workstation. Your gaze is sharp. Your breathing is controlled. You feel what it feels like to be in flow. You then move to your second prophecy. Easy social connection. Your posture becomes open, a slight smile on your face. Your body is relaxed and welcoming. You feel the feeling of connection. Then the third, deep restorative rest. Your shoulders drop. Your face softens completely. Your breath is slow and deep. You embody the coming peace. Scan, intercept, install, embody. This is the sequence. This is the ritual. It is a total takeover of your inner world. You are not leaving your emotional state to chance. You are architecting it. Now you will be tempted to think, I don't have 5 minutes. Or, I'll do it later. That is the voice of the old program. The program that loves chaos and victimhood. You must disobey that voice. The power of this ritual is not in its duration, it is in its consistency. 5 minutes of focused, disciplined programming is more powerful than a 1-hour session you do once a month. This is about building a new default. This is about creating a keystone habit. A habit that makes all other habits, all other changes possible. 5 minutes a day keeps the self-sabotage away. Miss a day, and you will feel the difference. The old patterns will creep back in. The prophecies will be louder. The anxiety will be sharper. Missing a day is like skipping a dose of essential medicine for a chronic condition. The disease will flare up. 5 minutes a day keeps the self-sabotage away. This is the simplest, most powerful investment you will ever make. It pays dividends from the moment you open your eyes until the moment you close them at night. You have a choice. You can hit snooze and let the chaos in, or you can sit up, breathe, and build your fortress of peace for the day. The choice is yours. The power is yours. It's not about having time. It's about discipline. The discipline to claim 5 minutes for yourself before you give your energy to anyone else. You are now the active programmer of your day. But your mind is a tricky machine. It likes to cling to old evidence. It collects proof for why your old prophecies were right. We need to cut off that supply. It's time to become a detective for your own power. Next. Chapter 8. Stop collecting evidence for your limitations. You are programming your mind. You are doing the daily ritual. But there is a saboteur in your ranks. A traitor working against you every single day. This traitor is not a person. It's a habit. A mental habit so ingrained you probably don't even see it. You are a collector. You spend your days collecting evidence. But you are not a neutral scientist. You are a biased prosecutor in the trial of your own life, and you are building a case against yourself. Your prophecy of inadequacy doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It feeds on proof. It makes you remember every mistake, every failure, every awkward moment with perfect, high-definition clarity. But your successes, your strengths, your moments of grace under pressure, you forget them. You dismiss them as flukes, as luck. You are a lawyer arguing for your own limitations. Stop. The case is closed. Think about it. When you believe I'm not good enough, what does your mind do? It becomes a museum of your failures. It curates an entire exhibit dedicated to every time you stumbled, the time you misspoke in a meeting, the project that didn't go perfectly, the criticism you received 5 years ago. You hold on to these artifacts like they are the only truth about you. But the compliments, the wins, the problems you solved, you treat them like temporary, meaningless events. You don't collect that evidence. You throw it away. This is not an accident. This is the direct result of the prophecies you have been running. Your RAS, your obedient machine, is following your command to prove you are small. You are a lawyer arguing for your own limitations. Stop. The case is closed. The trial is over. The jury has been dismissed. You are no longer allowed to present this case. Every time you reach for an old memory to prove why you can't do something new, you are violating a direct order from your own command center. This ends now. It's time to change your profession. You are fired from being the prosecutor. You are now hired as the archaeologist of excellence. Your new mission is to actively, deliberately dig for evidence of your capability, your strength, and your worth. You are not making it up. You are uncovering what was always there, buried under the lies of your prophecies. When the prophecy of inadequacy whispers, "You can't handle this," you must immediately go on a dig. You must excavate a memory where you did handle it, a time you solved a difficult problem, a moment you navigated a tough conversation, a day you persevered when you wanted to quit. You must bring that memory to the surface and hold it in your hands. Feel the weight of it. That is real evidence. If you're going to collect evidence for your power. This is a conscious act. It is a rebellion against your own lazy brain. Your brain's default is to look for threats, for flaws. Your new job is to override that default, to seek out the data that supports your new intentional identity. If you're going to collect evidence for your power. Stop letting your mind be a gallery of your failures. Turn it into a trophy room of your strengths. But we don't stop at archaeology. We must also become curators of our present moment. We must start collecting new evidence today that supports the new prophecies we are running. This is where we introduce the evidence log. This is non-negotiable. It can be a notes app on your phone, a physical journal. It doesn't matter. What matters is the practice. At the end of every day, you will write down 3 pieces of evidence that support your primary intentional prophecies, not 3 generic good things. 3 specific pieces of proof. If your prophecy was "I am effective," your evidence is not "I had a good day." Your evidence is, "I completed the quarterly report ahead of schedule. I delegated a task efficiently. I solved a customer complaint with calm precision." Be specific. The machine craves data. If your prophecy was "I am connected," your evidence is, "I had a genuine, laughing conversation with my colleague. I listened deeply to my partner without interrupting. I made eye contact and smiled at a stranger." This is the proof. Program the prophecy, then collect the proof. This practice does 2 things. First, it forces your RAS to actively look for the positive data throughout the day. You have given it a new scavenger hunt. Second, it creates an irrefutable written record that your new programming is working. When the old prophet tries to speak up, you have a logbook of truth to silence it. Program the prophecy, then collect the proof. This is the final piece of the programming loop. You issue the command, you embody the state, and then you verify the results. This builds unshakable confidence in the process. It turns faith into fact. You have a choice. You can continue to be the lawyer for your limitations, building a case for your own smallness, or you can become the archaeologist and curator of your power, building a legacy of your own capability. It's not about having no weaknesses. That's a fantasy. It's about discipline. The discipline of where you place your attention. The discipline of what evidence you choose to value. You are no longer a passive recipient of your past. You are an active shaper of your narrative. You are writing the story of your power, one piece of evidence at a time. But this work doesn't exist in a vacuum. You relate to people, and you have been projecting your prophecies onto them too. It's time to clean up that mess. Next. Chapter 9. The Prophecy in Relationships. Stop scripting other people's lines. You are cleaning your own house. You are auditing your evidence. You are programming your piece. But there is a landmine in this work. A landmine that blows up your progress every time you interact with another person. You are not just prophesying about events. You are prophesying about people. You are a playwright, and you are writing scripts for the other people in your life. You are handing them their lines. And then, you're getting furious when they deliver them perfectly. Think, how many conflicts started not with what someone did, but with what you predicted they would do? You walk into a conversation thinking, he's going to be dismissive, so your tone is defensive from the very first word. You are braced for a fight, and because you are braced for a fight, you create one. He reacts to your hostility. He becomes dismissive, and you walk away saying, I knew it. See, but you knew nothing. You created it. You are scripting their lines and then getting angry at the play you wrote. This is the prophecy of rejection on steroids. It's not just about you feeling rejected. It's about you actively orchestrating the entire scene that leads to your rejection. You are the director of your own tragedy. You need your partner to be supportive, but you prophesy, they won't understand. So you explain your problem with an edge of defensiveness. They pick up on the edge and become cautious, not knowing how to help. Their caution feels like a lack of understanding. Prophecy fulfilled. You want your boss to see your value, but you prophesy, "She'll think my idea is stupid." So you present it with hesitation, highlighting its flaws before she can. She hears your uncertainty and rejects the idea. Prophecy fulfilled. You are scripting their lines and then getting angry at the play you wrote. This has to stop. Today you have a choice. You can continue to be a bad playwright, writing terrible scripts for people and then blaming them for the performance. Or you can fire yourself from that job. You can step off the stage and back into the audience of your own life and just watch what actually happens. The discipline to do this is called the blank slate prophecy. This is the only prophecy you are allowed to carry into any interaction. It is not a prophecy about them. It is a prophecy about you. The prophecy is this: I am programmed for peace, and I will respond to what is, not what I fear. You do not go in expecting them to be kind. You do not go in expecting them to be cruel. You go in expecting yourself to be grounded. You go in expecting yourself to be clear. You go in committed to dealing with reality, not your fear-based fiction. Wipe the slate clean. Let reality write the script. Before you have that conversation, you perform your physiological reset. You state your blank slate prophecy, and then you listen. You actually listen. You are not waiting for your cue to deliver your pre-rehearsed defensive line. You are present. You are open. You are responding to their actual words, their actual tone, their actual energy, not the phantom you created in your mind. Wipe the slate clean. Let reality write the script. This is the most respectful thing you can do for yourself and for them. When you script someone's lines, you are robbing them of their humanity. You are reducing them to a character in your story. You are not allowing them to be complex, to be surprising, to be different today than they were yesterday. You are imprisoning them in your past. When you enter with a blank slate, you set them free. You give them the space to show up as they are, and you give yourself the space to respond from your power, not from your fear. This is how you break the cycles of neediness and conflict. Neediness is born from the prophecy of rejection. You preemptively feel unloved, so you act clingy and desperate, which pushes people away. Conflict is born from the prophecy of catastrophe. You preemptively feel attacked, so you become aggressive, which invites the attack you feared. The blank slate ends this. It is the ultimate act of sovereignty. You are taking responsibility for your own state, and you are relinquishing control over theirs. Give people the freedom to surprise you. They might be kinder than you expected. They might be more reasonable. They might have had a good day. They might have been waiting for you to drop your guard. You don't know. You will never know if you keep forcing them to read from your script of fear. Give people the freedom to surprise you, and just as importantly, give yourself the freedom to be surprised by your own reactions. When you are not braced for war, you might find a capacity for grace and patience you never knew you had. You have a choice. You can walk into every interaction with a loaded gun of expectation, or you can walk in with an open hand. The choice dictates the outcome. Every single time, it's not about trusting that they will be nice. That's another prophecy. It's about discipline. The discipline to trust yourself to handle whatever they bring. The discipline to be present. The discipline of the blank slate. You are no longer a playwright for other people's lives. You are the author of your own responses. This is the final frontier of your emotional independence. Now there is only one thing left to do. To step fully into this new identity. To leave the old prophet behind forever and become the architect of your future. Next. Chapter 10. Become the architect of your emotional future. This is where the old you ends. This is where the new you is born. Not as a hope. Not as a wish. As a fact. You began this journey as a prophet of your own pain. You forecasted failure. You rehearsed rejection. You prepared for disappointment. And your world obediently arranged itself to meet your expectations. You lived in a self-created hell and you thought it was fate. But now you know the truth. You were never a prophet. You were a programmer. You were inputting garbage code into the most sophisticated machine in the universe, your own mind, and then being shocked by the toxic output. That era is over. You are not a victim of your emotions. You are not a passenger in your own life. You are the architect. You are the builder. Your emotional life is not something that happens to you. It is something you build for you. Brick by brick, thought by thought, breath by breath, from prophet to architect. This is the synthesis of everything. The diagnosis, the obedient machine, the three prophecies, the interceptor, the new code, the embodiment, the daily ritual, the evidence log, the blank slate. It all leads here, to this identity. The architect. An architect does not hope a building stands. They design it to stand. They calculate the load. They choose the materials. They oversee the construction. This is your new relationship with your inner world. You are no longer looking at the rubble of your emotions, wondering how it collapsed. You are holding the blueprint. You are directing the construction, from prophet to architect. So what does the architect do when the ground shakes, when the storm hits, when a trigger appears? The old you would have spiraled. The old you would have recited the old prophecies and descended into the familiar pain. The architect? The architect pauses. The architect is calm. The architect accesses the blueprint. The trigger is just data. It is not a command. The architect then programs the desired state. I am calm. I am clear. I am capable. And then, crucially, the architect embodies it. They assume the posture. They take the breath. They physiologically install the command. They do not react. They respond from a place of power, from a place of design. This is the master switch for your confidence, for your relationships, for your performance, for your peace. Everything changes when your internal world is under your deliberate, conscious command. Everything. You are the programmer. The machine is obedient. The result is inevitable. Say that to yourself. Let it be the final code you install. You are the programmer. That is your identity. The machine is obedient. That is the nature of your mind. It follows commands. The result is inevitable. When you input focus, you get focus. When you input peace, you get peace. When you input power, you get power. It is a causal law. It is not magic. It is machinery. Now listen closely. This is the final critical piece. You are waiting for me to tell you that the work is done, that you have arrived, that you can relax and coast. I will tell you no such thing. That is a lie from the old prophet. The prophet wanted a finish line. The architect knows there is none. This work is never done. This practice is not a temporary fix. It is a permanent upgrade. It is the ongoing, daily, conscious maintenance of your own consciousness. It is the highest form of self-respect. Mastery is not a destination you reach. Mastery is the ritual itself. Mastery is the 5-minute programming session every morning. Mastery is intercepting the prophecy the moment it fires. Mastery is embodying the new state even when you don't feel like it. Mastery is the commitment to never again surrender your inner world to the lazy habits of the past. The ritual is the result. The peace you seek is not waiting for you at the end of the ritual. The peace is the ritual. The power you want is found in the consistent act of claiming it. The 5 minutes of daily programming is the peace. The intercepted thought is the power. The embodied state is the confidence. The ritual is the result. You have a choice. You have always had a choice. You can see this as a burden, or you can see it as the ultimate liberation. You are finally at the controls. You are no longer a victim of the random storms of your mind. You are the captain of your ship, the architect of your destiny. This is your new life, a life of command, a life of design, a life where your emotional future is not a mystery to be feared but a structure to be built, with intention, with discipline, and with power. You are the programmer. The machine is obedient. The result is inevitable. The architect is ready. Now go build. Let's be clear. This ends now. The days of predicting your own pain are over. The days of forecasting failure, rehearsing rejection, and preparing for disappointment are finished. You are not a victim of your thoughts. You are the programmer of your mind. You diagnose the prophecy. You intercept the pattern. You rewrite the code. You embody the new command. You fortify your peace daily. You stop collecting evidence for your limitations. You stop scripting other people's lines. You become the architect. Your mind is an obedient machine. It will believe what you tell it. So stop telling it stories of catastrophe. Stop telling it tales of inadequacy. Stop telling it fables of rejection. Start programming it for excellence. Program it for calm. Program it for power. Program it for unshakable self-worth. The machine is waiting for your command. It is neutral. It is obedient. The only question that remains is this: what will you program into it today? Will you program the same old pain? Or will you right now make the choice to finally and forever program your peace? The command is yours. Input it.